outside of obviously, Booker having a big night. I thought the 50-50 ball, you guys won that battle.
Yeah. Well, not only that, Mikhail's defense and having 27 points, that's Book does what he does. And I say it all the time. We don't take it for granted, but the energy that Mikhail and Jay and Cam Johnson put forth on defense, and then for Mikhail to, give us that kind of point production is huge for us. But the 50-50 balls, like when you're playing against a team that plays a lot of ISO basketball because they have guys who can score that way, you're watching the ball a lot. And when the shot goes up, their guys are crashing. And so you got to go hit the body of the guy crashing and then find the ball. And there were times where we just, had the will to get the ball so we can get out and run. There were times tonight where the ball stuck a little bit and we got a bit stagnant, but once we started moving it on top of getting stops, and those 50-50 balls that allowed for us to be a bit more efficient on offense.
When you just look at Booker making the runs and then matching that, and Aiden wasn't exactly on, and Crowder was trying.
Yeah.
What's to say about the team to have two guys, like you said before the game, come back, but yet find a way to win when they're not on top of their game?
I just think the poise and the experiences help us. The poise in those moments, but the experiences that we've had in the past probably help us in those moments. This group that we've had for the 3 years I've been here, they've been with me in those moments, and now they've been with Chris for 2 years. I think that helps. So even when you bring guys back, understanding we need 3 stops in a row, understanding that we got to have great ATO execution, reading their defenses. They came out in the third and started blitzing Book a little bit. I thought we read that well. So you could sit here and expound on it all day, but I just think the experiences that our young guys have had have helped them grow up. And so in those moments, they don't panic.
This is back-to-back games that Mikhail's had a season high in points. He had 26 against the Spurs. Is this something, his scoring at least, I know his defense is always there, but is it something that's sustainable or that you want, or do you expect to fluctuate just because of the roster you have and only so many shots to go around?
Well, it's tough to say. A lot of his scoring is dictated by the defense. Like when teams are trapping our guards, then it frees him and Mikhail and Jay, or Cam and Jay on the backside and Mikhail, and they get more attempts. There are times where teams back up in a drop defense and Book and Chris get a lot of mid-range shots, or we, hit our big and get some floaters. So it's hard to say. I do know that when we get stops and we run like we did in the second half, he can be productive there. And I thought Chris did a good job early of calling his play, and he was curling and getting to the basket. And when you get easy ones like that, I think that frees you up to take your threes a bit more confidently.
When you look at the minute totals for Mikhail, Chris, and Devin,
the
energy that they still had in the game, Book was spraying on every break.
Yeah.
Can you just speak to the level of conditioning you've seen those three specifically be in to allow you to have a stretch like this where you get the minute totals high and they still look fine?
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to use your timeouts to spell them a bit. They've gotten really good in timeouts about sitting. When you're a young player, it could be 50 seconds on the clock and you get up and start walking around. I think Chris has helped those guys, our medical staff, and I'm sure Jay talked to those guys about just sit the whole time. And I think that helps young players. But those guys are well-conditioned athletes. They never want to come out. Mikhail, Chris, Book, like you could play them 48 minutes and they'll still say they have energy. But they work at it, and we try our best to, manage their bodies on off days. Shoot-arounds are a bit different than they were when I played. I mean, when I played, shoot-around was an hour and a half and you broke a sweat. I mean, and you got taped. Now shoot-arounds are a lot shorter and there's not as much sweating going on. We typically walk through a lot. We get up shots and we try to execute with our minds. Maybe that helps, but they are well-conditioned athletes, and they love to play.
How nice is it, do you think it is for this team to every now and then do a game like this where you guys deliver that first punch in Brooklyn was there from the intensity?
Yeah.
I don't know, well, in your eyes, but how nice it is to get that kind of matchup.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're just, with our record and some of the attention that we're getting, I think we're getting everybody's best. And that helps you grow, you know, when you're playing against different defenses, two Hall of Fame players in Kyrie and James. It's going to put stress on your team, but that stress allows for you to grow. And I think that bodes well for us. But we're seeing the best. Every team we're playing, like they bring it. And that's where our fans help us so much. This is a really cool place to play. I mean, there's no place like Phoenix in the NBA. And I think that helps our guys. But we have the mentality that we can play against anybody. And we got to take that mentality on the road.
Monty, what do you think when Nash says that this Suns team has more depth and is probably better than the teams he put up for 10 years?
That's a pretty cool compliment coming from Steve. I mean, he's a culture unto himself. I mean, you think about Nash, you just say the name Nash and everybody knows who you're talking about. And for him to say something like that is really cool. And we've, you know, we feel like we're developing our own thing, but we also are respectful of the players like Steve and Amari and Charles and Dan and all the guys that have Eddie, and you know, you could go on, and we want to build on that, but we have a ways to go before we can even start talking that way.
Monty was a really great first shift out of Alfred. How nice was it to see that from him on a night?
I mean, we need it, you know, until we start getting guys back. I think he's getting consistent minutes, and that allows for you to have more confidence. He's got to play that way all of the time and run the team with confidence and be demonstrative about what we want to run on offense, and defensively just be solid. I thought he did a good job on the ball. He was on James and Kyrie a bit tonight, and I thought he did a decent job.
What do you think of DA's first game back?
It's just, you know, he's been out for a minute. I mean, it takes you a while, and he hasn't had any 5-on-5. And so I tried to play him in shorter bursts tonight, and I tried to go 3 bigs, and I think that just throws the rhythm off a little bit. So in the second half, I went away from that, but I think he'll get better as he gets more reps. We're just in that point in the season where you can't play 5-on-5, so you can get the real reps you need that lays a foundation for the game.
Anything else, Coach?
Thank you.
Thank you.